Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we are covering the financial knowledge, and basically in the financial knowledge what we are doing the banking awareness part. Okay? And since last two lectures basically we had started our discussion over the Exim Bank. Okay? We have seen the certain aspects like the overview, like the objectives, like the regulation part, okay, like the functions, sorry, not functions and not regulations, only objectives we have finished. Okay, please correct it. All right, so now we are left with the regulation, the functions, the promotion programs, international presence, infrastructure finance, and the summary. Okay, these are the topics which are left with us. So I hope that you have revised the previous lecture. With this note, let's start this lecture. So right now what we are going to do, we are going to see about the regulation authority. Okay, so let's start. First is the overview. Exim Bank operates under the regulatory authority of the Ministry of Finance, Government of India. This means that the bank falls under the administrative jurisdiction of the Ministry of Finance, which is a central government ministry responsible for financial and economic matters in India. Okay, so here what we have seen that particular Exim Bank about which we have been discussing in last few lectures, basically this works under the Ministry of Finance, the Government of India. All right. Thereafter, the Ministry of Finance oversees various capital institutions including Exim Bank to ensure their operations align with government policies and the financial regulations. Okay, now here are some things which I would like to make very crystal clear for you. Okay, so the things are like this. First is Ministry of Finance. Okay, second is Ministry of Commerce and Trade, and the third is Ministry of External Affairs. Got it? Now you will ask me why I have written down these three names here. Okay, so this is very important to understand. The first is, second is, and the third is Ministry of Finance having the control of the Exim Bank. Okay, Ministry of Commerce and Trade having the control over facilitation of foreign trade. Okay, and the Ministry of External Affairs basically making foreign connections. Got it? So in the particular term of the international trade, okay, these three ministries having their significant role. Okay, why? First, let's start with the Ministry of External Affairs. Okay, Ministry of External Affairs is basically responsible to maintain the Indian relations with the outsiders or with the neighboring and the other world countries. Okay, so suppose if we can say this is our India, this is the other countries. Okay, as I have been saying since last two lectures that no country having the sufficient and the fullest resources required for survival, production and economic growth. Okay, it means every country is dependent on some other country, or you can say all the countries are dependent on each other. Okay, so similar case happened with the India. Like if this is in India, then India is not capable to process all the required resources for the economic growth. It means that we are also rely on the outsiders and the other players. Okay, so suppose these are the two countries. 5 countries. India having the good relation with B, F, and D. Not in the good terms with C and E. Okay, so could you imagine that C and E will be doing the trade with India, or India will be doing a trade with them? No. It means that we could only do a good trade, or you can say a favorable trade, with those countries which having a good relation with us. Okay, so that's why here Ministry of External Affairs plays a significant role. Okay, why? Because they are responsible to establish a good and a favorable relations with the other countries. The more countries we are friend with, the more trade we will have with them. All right. So hope that you have gone through the role of Ministry of External Affairs. Now, second one is our Ministry of Commerce and Trade. Basically, this facilitates the foreign trade. Why? Because suppose Ministry of Commerce and Trade, if we talk about the, you can say the exporter and the importer. Exporter and the importers. Are they alien? No. Are they superhumans? No. They having super magical powers, so that they will just put down the raw material and they will say Vigardam Leviosa and the thing will be converted into finished goods. No. Right? It means that they are the manufacturers. They are the producers. Okay. So they are the traders. So what kind of problems they are facing, what kind of solutions they could be provided with, all the things have been handling by the Ministry of Commerce and Trade. Okay, so that's how their role has been also justified. Okay, because if the traders, whether they are exporter or importer, capable enough to participate in the international trade, then only the international trade could be happen. None of your producer or manufacturer is capable to export or import anything. Do you think that your international trade will be prevail of? Never, right? That's the reason. Now comes to the third one, which is the Ministry of Finance. So what is the role of Ministry of Finance? Basically, just you can say start your mind and thinking that all the banking, okay, let me make a chain. All the banks, developmental financial institutions, of financial institutions, all of them comes under the Reserve Bank of India, right? Reserve Bank of India is the observer, is the regulator, is the supervisor of them, and the Reserve Bank of India by itself comes under the Ministry of Finance. Okay, clear the picture? So ultimately the MOF will having the control on the Exim Bank. Okay, so now I hope the picture has been clear to you. Ministry of External Affairs established the relations with the foreign states so that we could do a favorable trade. Ministry of Commerce and Trade ensures that our manufacturers, our traders must be capable enough to participate in the international trade to do the export and import for the economic benefit. Ministry of Finance, because it's having the control of all the banking and the financial institutions, ensures that the credit and the financial facilities must be provided on the adequate basis to these particular traders. Okay, so please keep this thing in your mind. All right, so the Ministry of Finance oversees various financial institutions like the including Exim Bank to ensure their operations align with government policies and the financial regulations. Okay, now being a regulation authority or regulatory authority, what is the role of the Ministry of Finance? That is to be seen. The Ministry of Finance plays a crucial role in shaping and implementing the financial and economic policies of the Indian government, because the international trade is benefited or beneficial for us as long as it is favorable for India. All right, and it is to be favorable in Indian context. That has to be ensured by the Indian government. because the Indian government will make the rules and regulations, will make the policies and strategies which are to be implemented in a proper manner so that we could be benefited. Okay, so that's why the Ministry of Finance plays a crucial role in it. Okay, the Ministry of Finance plays a crucial role in shaping and implementing. Okay, that's what we've seen. Now, this is the budget formulation. The first role is the budget formulation. How? Let's see. The ministry is responsible for formulating the annual budget, which outlines government expenditure and the revenue sources. Like, that's what I had already told you in the previous lectures. Like, we have a statement we call annual financial statement. Okay, and this particular statement has been mentioned in which article? In article 112. Got it? Article 112 states for the annual financial statement, and basically annual financial statement having the zikr, or sorry, having the mention of government expenditure and the government revenue. Okay, so if we talk about the expenditure, it means that how much the government will spend. If we talk about the revenue, it means that how much the government will earn. Okay, so because the Exim Bank comes under the Ministry of Finance, it means that it has to be funded by the government, and the Ministry of Finance is a part of the government of India. It means that the expenditure which is to be made on the Exim by the Ministry of Finance is a part of government expenditure. Okay, so suppose if on annual basis the government is spending rupees 50,000 crores on the Exim Bank, so this will be reflected in the annual financial statement. Okay, and how much the Exim Bank will generate a revenue, this will be the part of the revenue section of the annual financial statement. Got it? So the first step is formulation of the budget, or you can say the budget formulation. The ministry is responsible for formulating the annual budget to outline the government expenditure and the revenue sources. Got it? Thereafter, the economic planning. It engages in economic planning, policy formulation, and the financial reforms to promote the economic growth and the stability. Okay, economic planning. Got it? Policy formulation and the financial reforms to promote the economic growth and stability, because all these things are to be deflected or reflected in the annual financial statement. In local we call it budget. Okay, so first step is the taxation. Okay, first step is a taxation, and taxation is a part of government's revenue. The ministry manages taxation policies and reforms included income tax, custom and excise duties, and goods and services tax called GST. Okay, so basically when I told you about the AFS, okay, annual financial statement, and the expenditure revenue part, so basically there was a division which I had told you. Okay, that division was, suppose if this is an expenditure part, this is the revenue. Okay, so the government has to justify both of them. The expenditure is to be reflected into the money bill. Okay, money bill contains that how much money is to be allocated to that particular ministry. Suppose there are 10 ministries, so how much money will be allotted to them will be mentioned in that particular money bill. You can say, suppose if there are 10 ministries, okay, each ministry is required rupees 10,000 crores. Okay, so total will be 1 lakh crores. Okay, so this total expenditure will be the part of the money bill. All right, thereafter, suppose if there are total 50 sectors from which the government will you can say make the taxation. Okay, so these 50 sectors will generate how much revenue. Suppose the government said, okay, this particular sector will pay this much of tax, this and that, and that's how we will get rupees 80,000 crores as a revenue. Okay, so this will be the part of taxation and this will be shown in the financial bill. All right, so Ministry of Finance presented two bills in the parliament during the presentation of annual financial statement, or in local language you can call it budget. The first is the money bill, which contains the total amount as an expenditure, okay, and its division is mentioned under the money bill, that particular ministry will get this much amount, this will get this much amount, this and that. All right, similar is a financial bill. Okay, the financial bill is to be presented into the parliament to show the government revenue, that which sector is required to pay this much of taxation, so that the government will earn total revenue of this one. Okay, so both the bills has to be passed by the parliament separately. Okay, so first step is the taxation, and taxation is basically the revenue part of the government. Okay, and this will decide the export and import. Why? Because if the government has increased the income tax, it means that the producer will receive a less amount of money with them, and when they will have a less amount of money, they will produce a less, because they do not have a sufficient money to invest it in the business. Secondly, customs and excise duties. Okay, if the government has increased it, thereafter the producers will save themselves, or you can say will reduce the export and import activities. Why? Because they have to pay the high customs excise duties. Okay, and similar with the GST and the goods and services tax. So what is the taxation policy of the government will be you can say implemented, that what will be the economic growth. Thereafter, the financial institutions, it oversees various financial institutions including the banks, insurance companies, and the regulatory authorities like the Reserve Bank of India. Okay, why? Because as I have told you, all the banks, development financial institutions and all comes under the RBI, Reserve Bank of India, and the Reserve Bank of India comes under the Ministry of Finance. Okay, so please make this chart in your notebook and whatever place you are making the notes, so that whenever you have to take the reference, you can take it quickly. Okay, headquarters. If we talk about the headquarters of Exim Bank are located in Mumbai, Maharashtra, India. Mumbai, often referred to as the financial capital of India, is a major economic and financial hub. Okay, so Mumbai, if we talk about the Mumbai is also the headquarters for two important bodies. What are these bodies? If we talk about Mumbai, then Mumbai is basically the headquarters of two of the most important, you can say, the institutions involved in this finances. So what are these institutions? I have told you many times. So first is the Reserve Bank of India. When it was established, its headquarters were in Calcutta. Remember this thing. And when it was handed over to the Indian government, it was working as a private bank. Okay, 1949, it was nationalized. Second was Securities Exchange Board of India, or SEBI in short. Okay, and the third, as we have seen, is the headquarters for Export Import Bank. Okay, so please keep this thing in your mind and revise them on the regular basis. Okay, Mumbai is a financial capital of India, is a major economic and financial hub. So that's why its headquarters are also located at that particular place. Sorry. Thereafter, it houses the headquarters of many key financial institutions and regulatory bodies, making it an ideal location for Exim Bank's central operations. Because suppose Mumbai is a financial capital of India, and also it is a coastal city. Okay, now I will make a draft for you so that you could relate it better. When we talk about the coastal cities, okay, so coastal cities having the waterways, or you can say the oceanic waterways. All right, and oceanic waterways are considered as better and cheap means of import and export of goods. Okay, why? Because it is generally required a cargoes. Ships. Ships could, you can say, could transport many goods and containers in a one single route. All right. So that was the advantage, or that was not. That is the advantage of the coastal cities or the oceanic waterways. All right. So if we talk about the Mumbai is also the coastal city. It means that Mumbai also possesses the conditions for better oceanic transport, and that's why it's having the adequate means for, you can say, the export and imports. So it is beneficial to establish the headquarters here so that the trades could be managed effectively and efficiently. Thereafter, what we have to talk about, we have to talk about the operational scope. Exim Bank operates not only at its headquarters in Mumbai but also through a network of regional offices and branches across India. Okay, so remember, it is not a centralized operational. Okay, it means that whatever you required, okay, whatever the administration has you required, so you have to go to the Mumbai. No, it is operates from Mumbai but operates through various chains of branches. Okay, so that's why the regional trade facilitation could be ensured. Okay, so remember, operational scope is not narrow, it's wider because it is not only operating through its main headquarters, but it is operating as a branch of the trees like this. You can say, suppose, let me make a diagram for you. Like this is a tree, this is a trunk, and then we can see that there are so many branches and all, right? So their reach is far. Similar things will happen with the Exim Bank. The trunk is basically the headquarter. Okay, the branches are basically the regional offices. Okay, and the leaves and the areas are basically the catchment area. Okay, so now I hope that you will get the things in a proper manner. Okay, so that's how they operate through the areas. These regional offices help the bank serve a diverse customer base, including exporters, importers, and businesses engaged in the international trade. Okay. Thereafter, the functions and the services. Let's talk about them. The first is the export finance. The export finance involves the provision of financial assistance to the Indian exporters to facilitate their export activities. Exim Bank offers various export financing solutions, including the first is the pre-shipment credit. About pre-shipment credit, we had just looked in the previous lecture, but here we will discuss it in a more proper form. This is a short-term credit facilities provided to the exporters before the shipment of goods to finance their working capital requirements, procurement of raw materials, and other expenses associated with the export production. Like in the previous lecture, I had told you, if this is B, this is A. All right, A is an Indian, B is in Russian. Okay, B wants some pharmaceutical products from A. Got it? So in such a scenario, what will happen? B will give the export orders to A, all right, and then A will reach the Exim Bank for credit facility. But there was a rule in providing this credit facilities, as I have told you. What was that rule? A has to show the fixed order of export. Fixed order of export. It means that A could not say that the B has just only talked about us. That B and A was talking. B was saying that I would buy a pharmaceutical product from you, and then the A assume by themselves that the B will buy the product from them. They reach the Exim Bank, they require the money. This will not happen. Okay, A has to show the valid proof that B is ready to buy the pharmaceutical products from A. This will ensure the fixed orders of the export, and that's why the letter of credit will be issued. Okay, it means that the Exim Bank will provide the financial aid to A so that they could acquire the raw materials and other expenses associated with the export production. Got it? So this is the pre-shipment credit. In the last lecture, I had told you the duration. Like, what is the duration for the pre-shipment credit? That was 270 days. Okay, from the day of receiving orders. Okay, so please remember this detail. So students, basically in this lecture we have just finished the regulation part. We have seen the functions, and the functions we have seen the pre-shipment credit. In the next lecture we will continue from this area. All right, so till then just revise all the facts and figures we have discussed in this lecture and be ready for the other lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture, and what we say thank you.